Okay, it started. I was just kind of like killing time. Dropping shit in the background. I was just kind of killing time. Not sure when my camera starts because it kind of lags before it starts the recording thing. I am going to do this as kind of like a vlog type thing to explain. Let me get comfortable here. Okay, gonna be a while. I'm pretty productive when I'm avoiding my workout. Try to work out every day, and I get a lot of stuff done when I put it off. I'm gonna kind of explain. I'm gonna call this vlog "Remembering the Dead." I wrote it down on my other computer screen here, so I can kind of remember what I'm supposed to talk about. Funny, I'm doing a vlog. If you hear like a squeaking sound, it's my chair. I swear I'm not farting on this video. One of my friends had pointed that out. He's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I swear it's my chair against the wall." Okay, off topic again. I guess I'm going to do it as kind of like a vlog. Every weekend, I'll just start with this opening. Every weekend I go to the cemetery. I'm kind of fidgety because I'm not comfortable. I go to the cemetery on the weekends every Saturday, but I'm going to start switching to Sunday because I'm kind of guessing that maybe it's not so busy on Sundays if everyone's in church. And I can go early in the morning and then I can get the Sunday paper because they're always sold out by the time that I get out. I go to the cemetery and there's old graves. I try to visit just the old ones that maybe people don't go to, or they don't have relatives either around here, or they're probably so old that their relatives don't know about them. I try to go around to those, and I'll leave a flower on every grave that is in my route, that I call it, every single Saturday. And I don't think I've missed a Saturday yet for about 6 months. I think I've been doing this. I was doing it on and off before that, but now it's like it's my weekend type thing because I quit hanging around one of my friends that I normally do. It's better this way, and I needed something to fill my weekend time, to keep me busy, and this is good for me because I get outside. As you can see how pale I am, I need to be outside more. Not even kidding, my cover up is called Light Pale, or Pale Light, something like that. But it gets me outside, it gets me walking around, and it's something that I enjoy. It's so calm and relaxing there. I can just kind of go there and de-stress, and I can visit all of these graves. I'll sit and I'll chill and talk to them for a while. Oh, excuse me, I gotta drink my caffeine to get me prepped for my walk. There's one grave that I particularly like to go sit at, and I don't know these people. I mean, I know one of them, actually. It's my uncle. But there's one grave that I go to, and I don't know him. He doesn't have a name on his tombstone, and I've tried so hard to track him down and find his name, and so far I've kind of narrowed it down between a list of about 2 to 3 different names. I think his name might be William, from what I found. And it just says husband on the top, but I also found another name that his last name was husband, so it's kind of, I'm unsure, sorry. And that's the soda that I thought exploded in the freezer, but it didn't, so it's kind of cold carbonation, doesn't really make so well with talking. I'll go, and I bought a yoga mat because when I'd sit on the grass, my jeans would get wet, and when I'd sit on my purse, I'd like crush everything that was in my purse. So I bought a yoga mat so I could just sit and talk to him for a while, just watch the sunset and all that other junk and just chill out, and it's really enjoyable and peaceful up there. And then people come around and they drive and they circle on the paths around me in their car just to see what I'm doing, and it's like, God, go away. I come here to get away from you people. I understand the cemetery's for everybody, but it's more than obvious when they do that they're just trying to see what I'm doing. I guess around here, I'm in Iowa, so not a lot of people maybe go and just sit in the cemetery. It's usually older people. I mean, I try to stay away. If somebody's visiting a grave, I try to go on the opposite side, like the furthest away from them, so I don't bother them. I try to be respectful of that. If there's like a funeral going on, then I'll just leave and come back later. I try to drive by once to make sure there's no funerals, so I don't go in and disrupt it. And then if there's no funerals, then I'll go ahead and go in and walk my path. I pretty much go the route of the entire cemetery. I go to 12 different graves, and then occasionally sometimes I'll just get this need for adventure, so I'll go to a new cemetery, or I'll go find one that I don't visit very often. There's one a few towns over that started it all for me. It was my first cemetery I'd ever been to, and I was just kind of walking around, and I mean, this was during the daytime, and I'm like, my heart was pounding. I'm like, oh my god, this is so spooky. I was terrified of anything horror related, and anything ghost related just scared me so bad. And I guess it's just the unknown. Like, you can't see it, but you have a fear that it can get you. So it was a thrill back then. I was in middle school or high school, I can't remember. Like, I was very, like, if it was high school, I just started high school. And I found this grave that was off by itself, and it was one that the city had paid for. And my aunt, she had taken me to the courthouse a while. I'd mowed the yard weekly for $3 and took flowers to 3 different graves, or like I'd buy silk flowers, and then I'd buy some decorations, a little dollar figurine, and then I'd bring them to the cemetery and I'd put them down on these old graves, and I thought it was so fun. And then my aunt, she showed me, she's like, you can find out who these people were. She took me to the courthouse and the library, and we looked at old newspapers and we found their obituaries, and it was just so fun getting to know these people that I was bringing flowers to that I'd never met before. It's like, whoa. And it just kind of spiraled from there. I've always felt more comfortable in a cemetery. It's so peaceful and relaxing, and when you put flowers down on a grave like that, you just feel like you're doing something that's really good, and it feels good. And so as we'd move to different towns quite frequently. I mean, like, maybe not as much as other people have, but it was enough for me. I have social anxiety, really. I've gotten better about it, but it was so bad. I'd cry and cry for days whenever I'd find out we were moving. But I always seemed to manage to find the cemetery, and eventually my friends and I got together, and we were ghost hunting, but it was just for fun, so it wasn't anything like professional, or it was just a hobby that we did for us. And we got some really cool recordings, and we all just like instantly started calling our moms when we heard the tape. I still have the tape, it's somewhere, but I have it in a box somewhere. And oh gosh, then we moved again, and I kind of missed that, so I found the cemetery where my uncle was buried at, and just kind of started going and venturing around that cemetery, and that's my favorite cemetery I've ever been to. I've never felt more comfortable at a cemetery as I do there. It's like I go there, it's like my home away from home. I spend so much time there. And I started going like once every so often, and then it became a every weekend thing, and now I go multiple times during the week. And I've started venturing off, finding other cemeteries. I bought a book of haunted places in Iowa, and I go to those cemeteries. And I thought, well, I can't always go to every cemetery constantly, and I'd like to kind of remember it, so I started taking pictures. And then that's when my Book of the Dead happened. This is just a $10 sketchbook from Walmart, those black sketchbooks. And I got scrapbook paper, and I put some stickers. So all in all, this cost me probably about $12 to make, just like that cover in the book itself. And I did, oh, that's a lie, I had to buy some Mod Podge. That's my chair. I always feel the need to clarify when, same with your shoe. Like, if a fart sound happens with your shoe, you have to try to make it happen again. Like, I swear that wasn't me. I think that's part of the anxiety type thing. Like, oh no, please don't think that was me. But, back on track, I bought some Mod Podge, some paper Mod Podge, and covered it, which I don't like. I like Mod Podge, I like the idea of it, but it just doesn't seem to work. It's always sticky, and stuff always sticks and tears, and does it ever dry? I'm probably using it wrong. That's usually what happens. Oh gosh, I have to burp. Excuse me. God, that's bad carbonation. This is I'm gonna show this to you guys. I've showed a few people, but I haven't shown them recently, and I have more pictures I need to add in here. I just have to go get them printed off. I got those $5 large scrapbook. They're like books that come with all different kinds of scrapbook paper. They're $5 at Walmart for the large, thick book. They have different kinds. These are goodies that I found in the cemeteries. I have interesting stories about all of these so far. I'll start. This was the first one. This is a 4-leaf clover. I was going around to different graves putting down flowers, my normal route, and I kept asking at every grave, I said, could any of you help me find a 4-leaf, because I'd looked for 3 weeks for 4-leaf clover in that cemetery, and I said, can any of you please help me find a 4-leaf clover for my book? I'd really like to have one in my book. And after 3 weeks of searching and not finding one, I was like, I needed, it was an obsession, and I got on to one of the last graves, put the flower down, and I said, will you please help me find a 4-leaf clover? I'd really like to have one for my book from this cemetery. And sure enough, I looked down in the patch of clovers, and there was a 4-leaf clover, and it's very special to me. I think I went back to the car and I started like tearing up. I'm like, oh, like whether it was I had help with it or not, it's very special to me. This was the next treasure I found. I don't know who they are, and I'm sorry to whoever's family this is if you don't want me putting this picture up here, but I don't know who they are. We found this. There was a burn pile where they take all the decorations off and they throw it in this massive pile and they burn it. And there was like a stone in there, like a, you could tell it was like a headstone. And it just, oh my god, I was so mad. And my aunt, she told me, she saw the picture and she goes, take that. And I was like, okay. Okay. That's not exactly how it happened, but I was like, because she said, you know, that's somebody's family, it should not be burned. We just kind of were walking through the cemetery and saw that, and it kind of like really just tears at my heart when I see things like that. They were just gonna, that's somebody's family, and they were just gonna burn it, which I understand they need to clean up, but it's, oh my gosh, it was, sorry, I just get so frustrated about things like that, but it's like, that is somebody's family right there, and they threw it in a burn pile, and we're gonna just burn it. So I took the picture, and I put it in my book here, so it can be special. And the grave that I told you guys about, where I bought the yoga mat to sit by, this was a leaf, and because I was talking to him, and I said, I wish I had something that I could take with me to put in my book of the dead, so I can have something from you, you know, in my book. And then this was one of the leaves that fell down next to me. So I said, is it alright if I take this leaf? And I had my ghost box going at the time, and I don't think I recorded that one. I've got various recordings I need to go through because my phone is getting full, or I need to put them on a flash drive. And I don't even remember, but all signs pointed to yes, I could have that leaf. Oh, sorry. It's actually tasty. I love this stuff. It's Celsius. Oh, burn more calories. I'll get into that in another video. And so I took that leaf with me and put it in the book. Okay, this is, I'll just kind of go through, and again, sorry if nobody wants me, if there's somebody in here whose family it is and they don't want me to post the pictures, message me, let me know, and I can take it down or change it or do my best, put a giant annotation to kind of distort the image, I don't know. This is Ada Porter, the one that started it all. If I remember correctly, I have her obituary in the closet because we got a copy of it from the library. She only had a sister in a nursing home in another state, if I am remembering correctly. So she really doesn't have any other family. She died in a nursing home. And all these years, have been visiting her and bringing her gifts. And even if I move far away, when I come through again, I try to make it a point to stop and leave her something. She means a lot to me, even though I've never met her. This is Elizabeth and Mabel. Elizabeth and Mabel. And it's so interesting how what I found out about them. Mabel died when she was a year old, and this is actually her mother. And I think she was a year old. She was a baby when she died, but this is her mother. And I had no idea. You like couldn't even tell because they were. I wish I could show you guys the before and after pictures of these also, because these look like shit. And then I took a spade, a little garden spade, and I tried to clean them up a little bit, and you couldn't even see that before, and I kind of dug it out and tried to clean it up. This one is, I was still working on cleaning it up when I did that picture. So they're related. It's mother and daughter. This is William Shade, right here. I just love that tombstone. It's, I think my friend told me it was zinc, but it sounds like metal and it's hollow when you knock on it. And it's very fancy and it's beautiful. And it says, here lies within this tomb the orphaned son of a soldier. I can't really read it, but that's pretty much what it says. What I found out is he was married for 3 months. A month after he was married, the wife, her father, killed himself with cyanide, is what I found. I wish I would have printed that off when I found it, but I didn't. I'm sure I could find it again if I dig, but I spent days researching this man. And then he died 2 months after that, and there's no wife or family buried around him, so it's kind of suspicious. This is my uncle, Bill. Not sure exactly what to say. I go and I talk to him, and I visit him every time I go to the cemetery. And I just, my personal opinion is I do believe that there is something after we die, because I've asked favors and questions, and I've gotten some pretty coincidental responses, and events happen, and I usually go and I talk to him, and I'll ask him, you know, can you help this person out, or please help this person find, and then it usually happens. So is it a coincidence? I don't know, but I go and talk to him, and I bring him a flower every weekend. These two, I don't know their names. They're just wooden planks, and they're so old, but they're beautiful. I named them Robert and Mary. I don't know if they're both males or females, if they're male or female, what, but I just call them Robert and Mary because it just kind of feels appropriate. And this next one is kind of funny. I named it Stanley. It's another wooden one. I've got to explain it before I show you guys. I've struggled so much with getting a good enough picture of this tombstone. Like, Stanley likes to be standoffish and be off in the back and not really be noticed. It's one of those you'd have to be there to understand type of things. And anytime I tried to get a picture, it would be distorted, and I could not get this picture. Like Stanley was fighting me. Like, I don't want my picture taken. So I always bring Stanley these bright, bold colored flowers. Like, no, Stanley, you're gonna be noticed. You're gonna have attention. People are gonna know you. And so finally, I took a picture, but my shadow made me look like 100 times whiter than I am. So I finally I quit fighting, and I said, fine, Stanley, I'm gonna put my embarrassing picture in here as long as it's a picture of you. And I gave him or her some rainbow stickers. Look at my shadow. Oh gosh. So I guess I feel like we compromised. Like, Stanley was like, if you're taking my picture, you're gonna have an embarrassing picture of yourself. This is Malia. This is before I got her in my house. I did add a filter to make it like shadowed a little bit, but she looks kind of unhappy there. And then this is after I brought her home. I did the video on the skull that I bought, so that's Malia. Doesn't she look happier? I don't think I have a filter on this one, but I kind of shadowed this one a little bit, but she just seems like she's happier. And I feel like she's happier here. Like, I don't get any creepy feelings off of her. I know some people are like, there's no such thing as vibes like that, but I don't mean to sound like a hippie or anything, but I feel comfortable with her being up there. It feels happy. She's up on her little sitting throne pillow, and I gave her a tiara, and I've decorated her like area. I've given her stones and some Halloween decorations. I put Jasmine, the crystal ball. I have to name everything. I put Jasmine up there, my crystal ball, and little tiny decorative lanterns that I got, and I think she's happy up there. I hope she's happy up there because I love having her here. This is the one that is named Husband that I go sit by, and I don't know why, but I'm so drawn to that stone. I just go and I sit there and I tell him when I have like a really shitty day, and it just feels okay, and it's like a perfect sitting spot because you can watch the sunset go right over the town. So maybe he wants me to find out who he is to, you know, but I bring him flowers every weekend. Some of the pages are stuck together. This one I didn't have time to research, but I accidentally found his mother. When I was trying to find out who husband, quotations, was, I accidentally tracked down his mother. So I need to dig into that. I got some of the pages saved so I can go back there, but it's funny how I accidentally find these things. Sorry. I need to drink that because it's getting late at night and I need to get my workout done. But I almost feel sometimes like I'm supposed to research these people and then find these connections, because I also have an account on Find a Grave where I try to link memorials together. I think that's what you call them, the memorial page. I try to link them together when I find a relation. So maybe these people want me to find them so I can link them together, because that also helps people down the line who are doing genealogy, the research for their families, and then they can find like, oh, well, I had no idea I had this relative. So it kind of helps everyone all around, and it makes me feel better because these people get to be remembered and have those connections made. Oh gosh, I can't think. There was another one. I don't think I have the picture in here, but I'll tell you about her when I get to the end. I have no idea who this is. I haven't even researched them. The feeling I get from them, I don't need to research them. I feel like they were maybe somebody that, because based on how their stone looks, I feel like maybe they liked to go place to place. Maybe they didn't have a place to call home. I don't feel like a necessity right now to look them up or to try to look them up. I don't even know if there was a name on that stone. But I just kind of feel like they're a nature-y type of person, and they just, you know, wherever they, like, the quote that comes to mind is, my favorite place to be is somewhere I've never been before. They just strike me as that type of person. This one, I found it very, kind of funny, I guess, like maybe a sign, because the first grave that got me started was Ada. And I had been trying to find a new last name because I want a different last name. My dad and I are not exactly, don't really know each other. That's a different story for another day. And so I've been experimenting with different last names, and I found this, and I thought it was the most coolest thing I've ever seen. Her name is Ada Graves. So I've been trying that last name out. When I say try a last name out, I mean I changed my last name on Facebook. Excuse me. So I've been bringing her flowers because when I can't go, oh gosh, sorry, carbonation. It's a good thing we're friends. When I can't go visit Ada, the first Ada, then I can go to this town. It's like 2 towns over, it's closer, and I can visit that Ada, so it's kind of like my Ada away from Ada. This one is Lizzie Parrott, and I know they meant well when they tried to fix this stone, but it's kind of sad. But I accidentally found her obituary, I believe. I wrote it down in my notebook, if I can ever find that purple notebook. It's around here. Actually, it's right next to me. But that Lizzie is linked somehow to one of the graves that I visit, and I found that out accidentally the other day when I was trying to figure out who husband was. So it's kind of funny, but like this stone is so old that they had to take part of it and put it in new cement, and they spelled her name wrong. That bothers me. I understand they're trying to do something, you know, good by preserving the stone, but it was done kind of poorly, in my opinion. I don't mean to offend anybody because they probably had the best intentions behind this. I don't know. Were they being careless? Maybe not, because you have to really love a cemetery to work there. But I just really wish that they tried a little harder. I really do. Like, at least spell her. I forgot the second I in Lizzie, so it's Liza. Liz. I'm sorry, but if I were doing it, I'd go all out on that shit. I'd get some, like, stampers to do some, I don't know. I've seen some really beautiful unknown stones made, and some preserving stones like this just really hurt my feelings. There's just so many in this cemetery that are in this cemetery. This is a different cemetery than I normally visit. So many that are marked as unknown because the stones are so old or broken and weathered, and they're just written like somebody took a stick and wrote it in cement. And it just, oh my god, does that ever bother me when I feel that old stones need to be preserved, even if you can't read them. Try your freaking best to save as much of it as you can, because that is history, that is somebody's life, that is the only thing left for some of those people that marks their existence. And when I find that there are cemeteries with unmarked graves, and I know a lot of them can't help it because like the wooden stones, or like stones that weren't ever even put there, but like stones that were there that they just toss aside, that really makes me mad. I'll get into that in a minute. I think I'm going to have to do part 2 to this video because I'm already at 25 and I'm still got pages. This is a gorgeous tombstone. Look at that. I think it says Eddie on it. Look at that, is beautiful. That is also a zinc one where you knock on it and it's hollow. I'm actually going to pause this video and I will do part 2. So for you it may just be a couple of seconds. So I'll be right back.